What's happening, everybody? Happy Sunday, a very warm Sunday, at least down here on the eastern shore of the United States. Not sure what the weather's like in Belgium, but Costa will tell us how you doing, buddy, and how's the weather over there?
What's happening? It's hot as balls over here, man. It's like 30 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius. That is. It's very, very hot.
Oh wow, yeah. So it's more like 28 here right now. So not quite as hot there, but it's a nice day. We went for a little bit of a swim, so can't complain. Good stuff. Good stuff. Before we get moving, everybody, if you haven't done so already and you are just now checking in, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that button at the bottom right corner of your screen. Every like, every engagement helps boost us in the algorithm and helps connect us with more red and white individuals in the global community. So help us do that. The channel grows every day. More new people find us, and this community is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, before we continue, we've got a couple words from our sponsors. As always, if you guys have anything to ship in and out of Greece, doesn't matter where it's coming from, doesn't matter where it's going to, you can give our friends a call at www.piraeusintl.com. And lastly, if you want to make money while you support the team that you love, use our promo code GATE7INTL in all caps at betus.com.pa. They give you a 125% deposit boost when you first set your account up. They accept crypto, credit card with specific countries, and you can make money watching the team you love. We also will put some betting tips out there. We did start to slack off a little bit towards the end of the season, but I do promise you, as things are coming up, qualifiers, Champions League over the summer, we will get back into that. So now that that's all over, of course, Costa, we have to give some congratulations, first of all, to the under-17 Olympiakos team, under-17 academy team. They beat PAOK 5-4 for the title this year. So the U19 and the U17s were victorious. A nice turnaround from last year. Congratulations to them. Do you have any words for them?
Honestly, mate, I tuned into the last 10, 15 minutes of the regular time, and I wasn't watching the match religiously. Maybe the man that I'm going to bring in right now was watching the full game. Hi, Marshall, joining us from France. Man, I watched maybe 20, 25 minutes of the game. So it went to extra time. It was 3-3. It was 3-3 by the end of the 90, wasn't it, Marshall?
Yeah.
And then Kostoulas scored this amazing goal. So this is Thanasis Kostoulas' son. Thanasis Kostoulas was a centre-back years ago at Olympiakos. His son, two of his kids are actually in our academy. One's a striker, one's a defender. And the striker, he's 16 years old, and he's already played professionally in the B team, so he's made his professional debut for the club. Mate, the goal that he scored, it was such a nice goal, the way it was worked forwards, the cross that came in, and then was a volley from outside the box that he shot onto the ground and it bounced over the keeper and in. And you're just like, oh my God, I haven't seen something like that from the first team for over a season, I feel like. So it was super exciting, man. And there was an Albanian kid that was playing for us called Sufka. I think he caught my eye a little bit. Some of his touches were really nice. And it's a big thing for the under-17s. Like PAOK, I think, has dominated under-17s, under-19s, like academy level for a long time.
Yeah, for a few years.
To win under-17 and win under-19 this year, I think is really big. I know Marshall follows this stuff quite a lot. Like, did you watch the game?
I watched the last part of the game as you did. And yeah, under 17 football is nice because there is no tactical at all. Like, they do play with instinct compared to first team football, and that's why it's nice to watch from time to time, because especially the extra time was insane. It was goals after goals, no midfielders, probably both teams tired too. So it was nice to watch, and as you said, it's very important to win the title, especially with under 19, because it gives you the Youth League qualification. And I think the last time we played the Youth League was with Tsimikas' generation, with Androutsos, Manthatis and stuff. And I think it makes a huge difference, because I'm pretty sure Anigo told that was one of the objectives of the season, like winning the title and go to Youth League. So let's see next season. It's interesting games to see, because you can qualify. Like even Panathinaikos, they qualified this season for the Youth League. After the group stage, I mean, like you can go quite far in the competition. And I think it's better football than the B team in Super League 2.
Well, it's very promising at the very least. We can say it's been a while since we've had a lot of hype over some of the academy teams and the emergence of some of these prospects that are coming with it this season. Kostulas is one that has been touted. He's what, 16? Did he just turn 17? And he apparently had some reps at some point with the first team as well. Or was it the B team? I might be misremembering that. But that another case like that, don't forget, we still have the guys that have been playing on the B team for a while that are still young. Guys like Thrylos. And these are individuals we're going to talk about in the segments that we get onto. But before we start the actual portion of the show where we discuss a lot of the things going on with the coaches, potential coaches, we should say, and then the depth chart, the keep, sell, loan segment. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, we are doing a giveaway on Instagram. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, go check it out. It's a pinned post, and it's in our stories as well, I believe. Costa, correct me if I'm wrong. Follow the directions that are on there to enter the giveaway. If you already follow us on Instagram, you're already part of the way there. Like the post, tag 2 of your buddies, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. You do those things, you have an entrance into the contest to get the jersey. You can also enter yourself multiple times, not by following multiple times. Of course, you just tag 2 more friends in another post. You can do that. We are allowing this time entry multiple times into it. We've gotten quite a few entries for this, but some of you have not yet followed us on YouTube. So please do that, and you will solidify your entry for the giveaway. Costa, did you have anything else on the giveaway?
No, you got it down.
Perfect. So I think so. We have the keep, sell, loan option, but we also have the discussion. There's a lot going on with the coach. Did we want to do the discussion about the coach first and then the depth chart afterwards, or did we want to do the depth chart first and get the coach out of the way later?
Let's go to coach. That seems topical.
Let's do coach.
That's what people want to know.
I was about to say there's a lot of comments about the coach already, so why don't we go ahead and get started on that? So there's been a lot of talk, a lot of names for the coaching position on the top of the short list for Olympiakos for Antonio Cordon. I almost said Alfred after my mistake in our group chat. Now it's going to stick with me forever because of Lambro. But Costa Marcial, what is the latest we have regarding the coaching situation? The last we heard was that Bordalas was at the top of the list. For those of you that may not be super familiar with him, he just recently took over Getafe. I think it was for 7-8 games to try and salvage them from relegation. He was previously coach of Valencia, and then he coached Getafe before that as well. A lot of discussion on social media, especially the last couple of days, about whether or not his philosophy mixes with the team. What are your thoughts on him as a coach, and what are your thoughts on the situation, the coaching situation? Marcial, you can go first.
Well, it's beginning to get scary for me, because it has to be done before, I would say, Wednesday, because time is being wasted by the club since Michel left the club. I think it was in April. I don't remember the exact day, but it was in April. And I do think that the club is trying to close coaches that belong to other clubs, like being under contract, which is difficult because you have to break that contract. And also, when you chase free profiles like Iraola or Marcelino, they're waiting for better clubs, because some clubs do have free spots, like Napoli, like Marseille in France, for example. And even for those clubs, like they're trying to win time, trying to find the better profile. So it's like the animal scale, When you're Olympiakos, you're quite bottom of that scale compared to Napoli, compared to Marseille, for example. So you wait for profile that are waiting for other clubs. And so at some point you have to make a decision. And I would say Bordalas at some point will end up to be the best solution for all parts, because he do want to coach a better team, like a higher ranked team in the league, and Olympiacos can close him, I think.
Right. Well, we have a comment here from era_core. Thank you so much for the donation. Guys, we really appreciate all of this. All of this gets invested back into the show to give you a better product, because this is completely by the fans for the fans. Thank you again. And his comment is, An Erthio Bordalas, tapunes un tamatia mas. If Bordalas arrives, our eyes will hurt. So I've gotten on my personal and also on the pod account, we've gotten some questions about it. You guys have asked about Bordalas, the scheme that he uses. There's quite a few actually articles. I was surprised at how much content there is on Bordalas' schemes and tactics. I'm not going to go into a full tactical discussion on him. I've told you guys already, I'm not going to do that until we actually sign a coach, like I did with Corbaran. I will do the same thing, but I understand exactly why everybody is worried. I consider, from what I've seen so far, and I haven't watched hours of footage. I've watched some pretty good samples, but I consider him to be a defense first coach. Again, not that means he's going to be a bad coach. I just and maybe negative football, I think, is probably the wrong word for it, or Eddie football that people call it. I think there are parts of his game that could translate to us, but he's a 4-4-2 guy. I mean, the majority of the time he has run a 4-4-2, and then when he's not running 4-4-2, it's usually a 4-1-4-1. If that's the case, he runs always, unless he's doing a single pivot, he runs a 6-6 setup. So bear that in mind. 4-4-2, 6-6s, and a lot of stress is placed on wing play. I mean, we're talking from set pieces, whether it's a goal kick in our area. Goal kicks are going to be long goal kicks towards the wings. He still plays with a relatively high tempo, not in a pass per pure minute of possession way, but he's very direct. Almeida, if you guys remember, for Ike, as Michel was in charge of Olympiakos, it actually turned out that the team that had more touches in possession or more passes attempted was Olympiakos while Michel was in charge. But Almeida much more direct in terms of his philosophy with Ike. It's similar in that respect with Bordalas, but more reliant on the long ball. So keeping all of this into the consideration, the fact that he runs 6-6s, the best you see from him is obviously on the counter. He spreads everything wide on the counter versus open play. Things are a little bit more condensed. He is a high press, regardless whatever you think. This isn't a guy that's a low block. He's high press, high intensity, high press. But the question that everybody has when you see the discussions about Bordalas with Olympiakos, and I think this is probably the more important question and discussion we need to have when talking about this, is what do we want, and how did we get here, and how do we avoid being at this position again? And with that question, with the answers to those questions that you may have in mind, is Bordalas the coach that can, forget if you want him, is this the coach that can change our course from what we've already had? I see things that I think could be adjusted for in Olympiakos philosophy, which, as many people here, I believe, would agree. Olympiakos, we're looking for a possession-dominant team, a team maybe that plays out of the back. I think that's fair to say. We expect that. We expect more attractive, fast-paced ball, not just results-oriented. We've had coaches that were results oriented at Olympiakos that got results and still got canned. Jardim, for those of you that may or may not remember, 9 points in Europe in Champions League and undefeated in the league, and he got fired. So the question remains: is Bordalas a coach that can cope and adjust from what we've seen to match the Olympiakos way of things? And that's the question. And that's not something I'm super certain could be the case. There's things I think he can change, but I think that the routines you see in his coaching style are, I don't know. I'm not sure how that translates for us, but that's just me. I know you both have opinions on the coach, and especially on these questions. Costa, go ahead. This time you start. Regarding Bordalas, what do we want? How do we get here? Is this a guy that you think can do it for us?
I think the first things first, to take a step back. If you look at all of the coaches that have been on the list or that we've heard about the last few weeks, first thing to say is that Olympiakos is keeping this very close to the chest. So I think that in reality, there are three people that know what's going on. One is Corberan, the other one is Marinakis, and the other one's probably Karembe. Those three know. Everything else that's been leaked to the press, I think that it could be Bordalas, but I also think it could be a coach that hasn't really been very prominent in the papers. Maybe somebody that we've read about marginally. But the first thing is, if you look at all those coaches that we've heard about, Iraola, Calleja, Bordalas, Cruyff, Van Nistelrooy, you look at them and you think, okay, do they all fit the mold? Do they all fit the mold of what we want as Olympiakos fans, like possession football, dominant, wing play, attacking, high press, the Valverde brand of football that he brought to the club? And, you know, we distinguish as Olympiakos DNA since then. Yeah. And before that, even going back to Bajovic, just the attacking football, they're all different. So that worries me a little bit, but also you just got to accept that beggars can't be choosers. Not to say we're full-on beggars, but we finished the league third. We all know about last season. We don't need to go back and talk about that. But I hear all the things that are being said about Bordalas and he's defensive, and I've seen the stats. I think his Valencia team were one of the lowest ranked possession teams in La Liga the season before last when he was coaching them. They had a pass completion rate of around 60%, possession rate of around 38% at Valencia. And you look at that and you think, that's not really, the brand of football that we want to play. But, Valencia has been kind of going down the shitter in Spanish football the last few seasons. So he took them on in a difficult period. And besides that, I mean, he's coached Getafe with all due respect. He took them up from the second division. He was there for 4 seasons. He ended up going to the last 8 of the Europa League, beating Ajax. That was the season that we drew Wolves. So he beat Ajax that season, won 2-0 at home, playing high pressing, kind of direct counter-attacking football. And that was against Ten Hag's Ajax, yeah? Maybe not peak Ajax, after they'd sold the centre-back to Juventus, and they had Ryan Babel playing on the left. So they still had Van de Beek playing in midfield. So it's still like a good Ajax team. So look, one thing I will say, and maybe I'll close on this point about Bordalas, and I think this is really interesting. I was listening to an interview that he did in the Spanish press a couple of weeks ago. And yes, he did take this Getafe job, basically, what was it? 2 months ago. So he played 8 games, and I think he lost 1 game. He lost 1 game in 8, and that was against Real Madrid, and he saved Getafe. Okay, so you can talk all you want about him being a negative or boring manager, but he got the result, and he was effective in getting the result. The objective was save them from relegation, and he did it. What he said in his interview was interesting, because he was asked about coming back to Getafe, and he has God status among Getafe fans, yeah? So he said that before he took the job, a lot of people tried to dissuade him from taking the Getafe job because the squad was poorly constructed. It was a bloated roster. Sound familiar? You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you look at us, and I think we need to be realistic about what we want and how can we get that? Can we transition very quickly to that attacking brand of football that we want to see? Or do we need a Bordalas type to come in before we can, you know, improve to that level? Do we need somebody to come in and restore some order, like bring some organization? Those are some things that come to mind with Bordalas, perhaps what he can bring. And again, guys, he said, I want to manage a team with more ambition, is one of his most recent comments, because he's talking to Getafe about staying on, but he said, I'm also looking at something, you know, going to a team with more ambition. So this could be it. He's never gone outside Spain. I think he has an offer from Mexico apparently as well, besides us. But you know, can he at 59 adapt to a different kind of football than what he's shown until now is a big question.
Right. And Martial, before we get your opinion on the Bordalas situation and some of the other coaches as well, just some context to add to the Valencia part, because there are people saying, "Oh, he coached Valencia and it was the most negative Valencia anyone's ever seen." There's context with that. Valencia, the ownership of Valencia, it looks like it may have changed. I'm not 100% sure on their history, but I saw a discussion about a change in ownership like 6-7 years ago. And since then, there's been a lot less investment in the club. And then he took over after a disaster season before from Javi Gracia. So they weren't in a great state of affairs when he took over, and he had to manage the situation from there. So just to add a little bit more context to his situation at Valencia. Marcial, what are your thoughts on the Bordalas situation? Not just him as a coach, but some of the other coaches we've been linked with as well.
Well, from what we read on the press, it looks like we only search for the Spanish market. So maybe sometimes we could miss profiles elsewhere that will be good profile for Olympiakos. I mean, because when you hire a sports director, sometimes that's the BS you get. I mean, he's focused on one market, and Gordon obviously knows the Spanish market, but I hope the club is trying to look at other profile elsewhere. And I kind of agree with Costa. Maybe the name isn't known yet because coaches' market is quite strange. I don't recall having heard about Pedro Martins for Olympiakos before he get the job. I mean, probably 1 week earlier when the contacts were made, but same applied for Oscar Garcia. Like he came out of nowhere to take the team, and I don't know, because I do believe that Bordalas would be the chosen one, because if you appoint Cordon, it's to trust him. So if you choose to go for Bordalas, you have to trust Cordon. Otherwise, his appointment makes no sense. But I don't know. At the point with the season we had last season, I would be okay with pretty much every coach, unless it's Cruyff maybe, because I don't believe he's a coach. But otherwise, if Bordalas came and decide to work with the squad, work on the loanies, like sell players and stuff. I mean, last summer we all wanted a new coach, and I think we would all agree to have Corberan from the beginning of the summer.
Right.
It's changed a lot of things to have a coach from the beginning of the summer, including Martin's first year, because without the summer of the first year, maybe there wouldn't be second year Martins. I don't know.
Right. And I guess kind of to build on some of the things that you've said as well, a lot of these coaches that we're looking at, so okay, maybe for me, I think the coach that pops to me as like the coach that fits with Olympiakos, the philosophy we want, would be Iraola, right? But then you have guys like Bordalas, and I can't remember, it might have been oh my goodness. Not Javi Gracia, who it I'm forgetting who else I saw was a 4-4-2 with double sixes. Anyway, sometimes you wonder if the coaches, like them being perceived as negative, isn't just a manner of, oh, this is their philosophy, but also circumstance. Look at the coach, look at the teams they've coached, right? How offensive can you be with a team like Getafe? How offensive can you be with a team like Valencia in the manner that they were in? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he is or isn't. I'm just pointing this out because you have to wonder in some cases, especially with these coaches like Bordalas, who are more direct at the very least. And they're in these situations where they're using the long ball method and crossing. Is it the case that maybe if we play a higher line with Olympiakos and further forward with the players that we have, maybe that are more skillful than a lot of the players in Greece, does the football look a bit more effective? Does it look more offensive and more flowing? Those are sometimes things that I wonder. And in that respect, I believe that we can't necessarily make the case of whether or not this coach is an Olympiakos coach or a coach for the Olympiakos philosophy without first taking into account our resources. Who are the players at our disposal? What's the core we have to work with?
What is Olympiakos now?
Right, exactly. What do we have to work with now? So I think before we can assess whether any of these coaches fit what we want, what players do we have to work with right now? How much surgery has to be done to make what these coaches want to do successful here? So I think this leads perfectly into the segment that we are going to do, which is keep, sell, loan in that respect. Costa, do you have anything else on that respect with the coaches?
Yeah, look, I think that we have to be patient. I'm going to say it really early. It's the 11th of June. We're late, it's true, but okay, situation is what it is. The first technical meeting at Reddy is going to take place on the 19th of June. Technical director is going to be there. New coach should be there. On the 22nd of June, players are going to start coming back for preseason. And 26th of June, it starts officially. Then they go to Austria on the 5th of July. Things are happening fast. So next week, the manager has to come. So it has to, like, this is the week. This is the week, ladies and gentlemen. The new coach is going to be announced. I think 99.9% certain we're going to know who the new coach is. And I'm going to say it really early on, guys. We need to be patient. Beginning of the season is not what you want to hear. I know. Everybody thinks that. I get this sentiment that a lot of people think we're going to bring in this new coach, like he's going to teach us this how to play our way of attacking football again, and everything's going to be great, and we're going to walk all over the league and restore order. Guys, Pedro Martins joined in April that season. He joined in April. He had time. He had so much time to look at the roster, to look at the players, prepare for the season. It's not the same now. And Pedro Martins, guys, we forget. Pedro Martins played in Europe with Rio Ave, with Maritimo, with Guimarães. He'd had good runs with them in Europa League. Bordalas, one good run with Getafe, it's true. But you see, like, even Martins, he was a different profile. Like, he was almost ready for Olympiakos.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect time before we jump into the segment where we look at our squad depth and discuss keep, sell, loan. We will bring the last but not least latest member to arrive here today, coming in stuck in that Belgian traffic, worse than DC traffic, I guess. But Lamba, how you doing, buddy?
I'm okay, guys, but there was like what time is it? 11 p.m. traffic jam. All of the lights were out. I had a brownout because it's almost 32 degrees, 91 degrees for the Americans here in June. You'll see me sweat through my shirt. And the lights just went out. The power went out. And I guess all the traffic lights are out. So that's why I'm late. So
what a time to be alive, my friend. Well, Lamba, really quick. Really quick, and actually, this comment from Geo7 leads into my question. It says, I think the delay in the announcement of the coach has to do with the fact that the new coach is still under contract with his team. Really quickly, before we go into looking at the squad depth, because we've kind of discussed for a while the coaches, how do you see this situation panning out with the coaches, Bordalas, Quickly give us your thoughts on that.
To be honest, I don't know anything about them. Bordalas came front and center, so I read a bit about him. I remember his Getafe team being the shittiest team to take Ajax out of Europe. I remember texting with Dutch friends about that, and it was just like so frustrating. These Spanish divers play like shit and dirty, blah, blah, blah. But I was messaging with you guys. I could so see a Olympiakos team like this destroying AEK almost, with 10% possession. Almeida is so attacking and so loves the attack. I could so see this guy coming, instilling bullshit into players, diving and tough tackles and 3 chances, 3 goals. But anyway, about the coach, I think it's taking so long. So I bet half of Spain has said no to Olympiacos, to be honest. Like, I think what's going to lead us into the next segment, you look at the players in the roster, it's a really shitty roster. It's really bad. So someone has to be up for it. It's mid-June. You guys already mentioned preseason's coming soon. The roster's a shit show. Free agents, we don't know if we're resigning, etc., etc. It's a fucking mess. So whoever it is, God bless them. It's going to be a difficult job. That's my opinion.
God bless them indeed. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Let's bring out the depth chart. Let's have a look. We're going to go through position by position, but we'll start with the depth chart of the entire squad. We put these on social media already so that you guys could see it. I know that it's on our stories on Instagram, but here's the entire depth chart upcoming. There are some players missing. A lot of you asked questions about it. I know we answered it to a couple of people. The one of the biggest ones people were asking was, where's Socrates? Where's Kalogeropoulos? Guys, Socrates' contract is up this month. So there's been no news, no word on whether or not he's going to be renewed. So until then, he's not a part of the plan. Same with Kalogeropoulos. In fact, it's weird because we had plenty of news about all of these youngsters signing professional deals and renewals, but we got nothing for Kalogeropoulos. So again, that's why he's not included in the depth chart. Go ahead, Martial.
Onyekuru's option is activated. I'm just reading that.
Oh, look
because
at
Fenerbahce
that.
won the Turkish Cup.
Fenerbahce won the cup.
Yeah.
Okay, so Henry's gone then.
There we go. So that's one thing. Breaking news.
How much money?
Gentlemen.
3.5 million.
3.5 was the buyout, if I remember.
Not bad.
And there was I think the loan was like $1 million, wasn't it? So we've made our money back essentially.
Just about. That's correct. So we made our money back, at least with Onyekuru. He's gone. You heard it here. Martial telling you guys, Martial Debo giving you the news. Onyekuru's option has been activated. So very big news there. Very big.
He was the better winger on the right winger list in my book.
In my book, look how shit this team is. Look at how shit this is. Like, look at your right backs. It's Rodinei, Retsos. Retsos got called up to the national team. That was like the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's like wheeling out on a wheelchair. Like, fuck's sake. Gus Poyet watched Olympiakos all season. Was like, get me Retsos. What's his?
He was like, number? I can't use Fortounis, but Retsos. I need Retsos in this team.
Who watched Olympiakos and Retsos all season? Was like, fuck it, Doi, Retsos. Like, he's the only one in all of Greece who was like, get me Retsos' number. Get him to me. So, but you look at the look at this shit. The strikers, El Arabi, Hassan, Kamaras coming back, Biel. Holy shit.
Well,
wow, it's bad.
What's funny is that
let's bring some organization to this. Let's go ahead and do it position by position. We'll go
chaos, baby, chaos.
We'll do keep.
You're all asking where's the coach? What fucking? I bet you every Spanish guy who got it was like Football Manager when you send out the advert for coaches. That was like Olympiakos, and then they get this alongside it, and they look at it. And my starting striker is 38-year-old El Arabi who couldn't score a goal to save his life last season. My backup right back is Panayotis Retsos. It's like, oh shit. My best left back is Rayabchuk. You're like, oh no. Just goddamn. Anyway, let's get some organization. Let's go.
Well, we'll do this by position, and we're going to do this keep, sell, loan style. So we'll evaluate the position. We'll each say our options for keep, sell, loan, and then we'll keep everything moving from there. So what do we got first? What's our first position that we're going to review for keep, sell, loan?
Should we start
Keeper,
at
innit?
goal? Yeah, start in goal and go rounds. Let's do it.
So we'll start with the goalkeeper depth chart. We've got Paskalakis, Cholakis, Karagiris, and Papadoudis. So we'll start with Martial. Go ahead, buddy. Keep, sell, loan. Start from the top.
Well, I wouldn't touch anything with the goalkeeper situation because we've seen this season that it can evolve really, really fast. The good news is that Christensen is out of contract, is gone. I think it was taking games from Solakis, probably 10, 15 games took from Solakis over like 2-3 years maybe. I'm expected Pashalakis to be the starter this season, and Solakis probably will play around like 15 game, 20 game maybe, and probably we'll need a B team goalkeeper, which probably will be like Karagiris or Papadoulis. I don't really know what's the plan for the B team on this position, but I hope the club won't go for third goalkeeper experienced profile, because every time it's very useless. Solakis is more than ready to be the number 2.
So you're keep then for Paskalakis, Cholakis then.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that
even
was clear.
if I'm a little bit scared with Pashalakis because I know that it's during the qualifiers that he's able to fuck it up like he did with PAOK after the titles, for example.
God.
It's when you get confident that he starts to fuck it up. So let's see.
Lambro, keep, sell, loan for your goalkeepers. What are you doing?
I keep the first 2, and I get rid of Karagiris, who's on loan to some shitty team in the 2nd division. I let him, so many shitty academy goalkeepers from Olympiakos have gone on having terrible careers. Just let him do that. I'd take Papadoudis or whatever for the B team, and honestly, I would take Orestis Karnesis or something. 40 years old. I disagree with Martial. Bring him in to monitor. No, I'm just joking. I think, but you do need one more goalkeeper. But yeah, I'm just waiting for Paskalakis to have a moment, like Martial said. But yeah, I'd keep the first 2. Other 2, it's okay.
Costa, go ahead. Your goalkeepers, keep, sell, loan.
I think this is literally the only position where we don't have an issue this season. So Paskalakis, Dolakis. Some of the people commenting, Karagiris, you are correct. Actually, I thought it was a loan to Prodeftiki, but it's actually a sale. Like we sold him for 150,000 according to Transfermarkt. Anyway, so we do need a third. Don't know if that can be Papadoudis. I think Stournaras has been starting for the B team. So we might pick up like an Irving Lemons type goalkeeper or a Butina, like the Croat that we had a couple of years ago. I don't know. But I think we're set, like Paskalakis, Dolakis. I do agree, like you guys know how I feel about Paskalakis. I'm the only one that wanted him when we got him, as I've said many times. But yeah, you are right. Like he can have those erratic, unpredictable moments when he is too high on confidence. Let's see. But I think we're set. Like I think a goalkeeper is keep, and I think we need one more.
Yep. I'm going to agree with you guys there. For me, both Paskalakis and Cholakis are keep. Karagiris, we got something out of him more than I expected. My answer would have been for Karagiris and Papadoudis. I don't really care. Do what you're going to do because I didn't believe they have more of a future than they already do with Olympiakos. So you move on to the next with them. And I think it's about as easy as that. So it seems like we're all kind of in agreement here. Keep, sell, loan for the goalkeepers. Maybe you bring in a third, a veteran keeper, another veteran keeper. So who knows? or maybe just another prospect to come in behind Tsourlakis and Paskalakis. But that's probably the one position that we don't require a whole lot of surgery on, which makes it the easiest segment of this to do. Up next, we're going to do let's do right back. I won't keep the banners up because it cuts Lambro's face off, and then everybody forgets he's here. So we will do right back next. And you know what, Lambro, you go ahead and go first. Keep, sell, loan. Rodinei, Retsos, and Nikolic.
Keep Rodinei, release on a free Retsos, and keep Nikolic. Keep Nikolic, surprisingly. I don't know. Nikolic, I don't know. I'm in the air about release on a free with Retsos, but I think keep for the preseason. That's mine. Martial?
Well, I do agree, and I'm surprised Nikolic didn't get the chance to at least be on a mission with the first team, because he's probably the only right back we have at the club apart from Rodinei. I mean, real right back that have played as a right back for years. And I'm not sure it will be in the first team because we probably signed someone at this position, but he has to stay with the B team because B teams for me needs at least one or two players like that. I don't know how to call them, but it's like experienced player for the B team. So yeah, they aren't good enough to be in the first team, but also they will be the pillars of the B team. And I think he has a role in the club. He's quite loved and he's like a nice guy, working guy, so he deserves to stay. And Retsos, well, it's sad because he looks like a lovely guy, but I think professional football is over for him. The best he can expect is doing what Mantatis is doing right now, like playing first division very far away. I mean, like northern of Europe, or I don't know. But his brother probably more talented by now.
Costa.
So he has
sorry,
to go.
Marcel. Costa, go ahead. Keep, sell, loan. Right back.
Rodinei, keep, obviously. Then Retsos is a hard one, man, because like you could be of the view, like Martial said, that professional football's over for him. I think it's make or break season for Retsos. He's versatile. He can play left back. He can play centre back. He can play right back when he's fit, if he's fit. So I think it's make or break for him. You can't loan him. You can't sell him. So you have to try and see what you can get from him. So going into preseason, it's keep for me. And Nikolic, he's been on loan to Chania, I think, some years ago. He's been a regular for the B team. I can't say. Hard to say how old he is now. Probably, you can't. I mean, what's he worth on the market? Not a lot. I don't really like our options at right back. I don't like Retsos is in the depth chart on the right because he can play there, and Androutsos is out of contract. So I expect Retsos is going to be more of an option at centre back. But we need to sign someone. We need to sign a player at right back for sure. For sure.
22.
No, yeah, I think you're on the right track there. I mean, even for me, like, and I don't know how everybody else feels about this, but Rodinei, as much of a breath of fresh air as he was when we brought him in.
Did we just lose Adi, or is that just
Am I the only one that lost him?
No, he's good. Oh, we lost him. Where is he? Adi, you're back.
Am I back? Can you
he's
hear
back.
me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, fantastic. I have no idea what happened. But I was just saying, Rodinei, we have to bring in another person. Rodinei, for me, towards the end of the season, was losing it a little bit. Retsos, it's unfortunate. It's not like you want to keep him because you want him, but you don't have a choice. Like, the guy's in a wheelchair. Who's gonna take him? Who's gonna loan him? So you're stuck with him because I doubt he's not gonna cut his contract just out of the kindness of his heart. So you're stuck with him. So
stick Vrusai at right back again.
Oh, here we go. There we go. That's another option. But yeah, at the very least, we have one pickup that we need to make for the right back position. TF91, I think Saliakas will be a good fit. Didn't he just sign for somebody? Or am I losing?
He's not
St.
coming
Pauli
back
in
to
the
Greece.
last summer.
He signed
go.
San Pauli, last year. 33 games, 4 goals, 4 assists.
Well, we'll see what happens in the right back situation, but it sounds like it's another summer of fullbacks and are going to be a problem again.
I actually just spoke with a good friend, and he told me both. Why are you all laughing? I haven't even said anything yet. Both Diogo Figueiredo and Bruno Gaspar are available if needed this summer. They are needed just in case.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Costa C, get us started. Left back depth charts, a little bit more interesting. Keep, sell, loan. More interesting options here, but go ahead. Costa C, let us know. Left back, what have you got?
Oh, man, this was going to be quite an interesting one with Leidner coming back before he got injured. But honestly, looking at it now, Leidner's not going to be back until January, back in training. So that's a real shame. I won't comment on him. Gitsos is the only one for me that's keep out of those left backs. He got a good amount of game time at Omonia. I know Omonia want to keep him. They were happy with him. Played right back, played left wing, played right wing at Omonia. So he's the only one that's a clear kind of keep for me. I don't want to be hard on Oleg, but for me, surely he's one of the sellable players on the roster. You can get maybe 3.5, 4 million for him. Don't know what his market value is. I haven't checked, but for me, yes, time to sell. Is he better than Ramon? I don't know. I'm really not sure about Ramon. Some games that we saw, he's definitely got a great deal of energy. He can bomb up and down the wing. He's fit. Was I impressed with his crossing ability? His footballing, his technique, not so much. So Reabchuk sell, Ramon loan, Kitos keep is the only one I keep out of those.
Okay. Marcial, go ahead.
Well, I totally agree with Costa because Ramon looks like the kind of player that we really love to buy and put into waste 6 months, 1 year later, because it's too average to be a starter over the years. But he has to play games, and I knew when we brought him in. I think we brought him in January, right? The season was probably almost over at that time, and it was obvious that it was going to be at least not needed in the summer, because if we were to rebuild the team, which is the case, you expect someone better to come, even especially if Reabchuk leaves, and it doesn't left much space for Ramon. So I would loan him, and Kitsos keep, and Oleg sell.
Lambro, keep, sell, loan, left back.
The thing about Ramon is he also has a non-EU passport. He's like a complete waste of space because he's never going to be your starting left back. So you're going to waste a non-EU spot on your backup left back who is mediocre up to this point. I would loan him. Oleg, shock, I would sell him too. I just don't see the point of dragging this guy out for the qualifiers again. I just do not want to see him again at this point. I think for the best move Olympiakos could do maybe is keep Kitsos. They'll probably keep Reabchuk too. But I'd love to see Kyriakopoulos. I heard he's available from Bologna. Just a new left back, I'm getting tired of seeing Oleg every year trotted out. We know what's going to happen. But you look at the rest of that team and you kind of want to keep some stability with Reabchuk, Pascalakis, Rodinei into the qualifiers, because this next position we're going into is a shit show. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I Look, for the sake of, you brought up a really good point, Lambro, about the passport, and that's why Ramon for me, if all things were held equal, I would loan him out at least. I never thought that he was going to do anything special for us. At least this past season, I always saw him as more of a project player. But he just turned 22. He's not like a young guy anymore. So how much more are you going to see out of him? He's quick, physical. That's really all you get out of him. Kitsos just turned 20. I see a lot more potential out of Kitsos than I do a guy like Ramon. Plus, he's Greek passport. I think we have to keep him. In an ideal world, if Leitner didn't get injured, we keep both of them. And I say, you know what? We bite the bullet and we move forward with those two guys. But unfortunately, that's not the case. If you believe the rumors that we got a $5 million offer for Rebchuk, you're just as furious as I am. But I don't think at this point, I think he's the only player we could get money for. And then we have to get another left back again. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I doubt he would ever come back to Greece, but I wouldn't say no at this point.
Would you guys take Giannoulis?
Right now?
Yes.
Depending on the price, I would, yeah.
Didn't he
For
like his
Diakopoulos,
leg
you had
ripped
the
off?
budget
His leg
option
ripped
of
off.
3.5 million.
Yeah.
Bologna.
But
he's not
that's
coming back
TF91. I also remember that interview he gave to guys at the end of last season.
He would rather go to
Rightfully
French League 2.
so. He has no fucking interest in coming back to Greece. What a shit show. So
yeah, so that's what I would do. The only keep I have on that list is Kitsos. I'd sell Rebchuk. Leitner's injured, so he doesn't count, and then Ramon I'd loan. So that's the situation with left back. Yet another transfer that needs to come in. So we're already looking at least 2 transfers that need to be made for fullback, for right back.
We agree on everything so far, don't we?
yeah, I don't think we've had
at least one.
Okay.
Except yeah. So
Let's see where we disagree.
Well, I think this
This
might be
one,
one that maybe we have a little bit of a difference of opinion. So let's do center back up next. And this time we'll get started with who started the first time? Martial with the goalkeeper. I'll start this time because I don't think I've started yet. So we've got Cisse, Ba, Doi, Retsos, and Bagalianis. Well, my opinion on Retsos hasn't changed. You're forced to keep him because of the nature of things the way they are. Gutsidis, look, if it were me, I'd like to see just more young guys be put up. But I don't think it's going to be the case. I think we'll see Doi. The situation with Cisse and Ba is very interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if we sell them, but at the same time, we need things everywhere. If they want to stay here, I'd keep them, to be honest with you. But I don't see a scenario in which they do stay. And we look at the assets that we have to sell that we can make money on. We're not going to make as much as we could have out of a guy like Cisse, but I think at this point, I sell Cisse Ba. I get 2 new center backs. I keep Doi. I don't get a choice with Retsos. I promote Bagalianis. I bring in 2 new center backs. And Koutsivis, how old is he now? 18, 19?
I think he's 18.
He probably keep him at least in the B team. Martial, you go next.
Well, as much as I love them, it's more than time to sell Cisse and Ba because it is what it is. I mean, their time in the club is done, and for the good of all parts, it has to change. And Doi looks the only guaranteed starter for the summer. We will need 2 center backs, if not 3, but I would say 2 because 2 starters, it kind of solves the issue. Even if I wonder if Ndoi is able to do the season he did last season because he's a midfielder. So I wonder over the time if he's able to stabilize as a center back. Bagalianis is good option, but I think you have better option on the market. If you want to have Greek player, someone like Gutas on a free, for example, would be a good solution for me. Both to be a starter and also Greek one, because I can't remember the last time we had Greek center backs, and I'm not talking about Socrates or Manolas, but maybe the last good one over the year was Siovas, maybe. We would need someone like that, like quite experienced and quite cheap to compare to foreigners. And could see this. I don't really know what he can do, so I have no opinion on him. Maybe alone or B team. Maybe youth league if he can play it. I don't know.
Okay.
And
Real quick.
I don't know.
Sorry, go
Maybe
ahead, Martial.
If a good offer comes for Endoy, I don't know. I kind of feel that this guy can turn. I don't know. He can be super good next season, but also he can flop super bad. I don't know. I have a bad feeling sometimes. Like it's either is going to flop or is going to be a master. I don't know to say the top prospect.
Yeah.
There is no middle
ground with
possibility.
him.
Yeah. He got exposed a few times really bad.
Yeah.
And he's not a center back and et cetera, et cetera. So I see that as well.
Martial, you're killing me with your long pauses. I keep thinking you're done. Then I go to move on to the next person.
But I'll make it short. I'm with Martial. I want to see Cisse and Ba go for themselves. I think they deserve a new project. Doi, I keep, but I am worried if he's your starting center back with some random Spanish guy they find in the market. Retsos, I'm looking at this as, am I comfortable with these players in the qualifier? Retsos, no. If Retsos can't play in the qualifier or be a backup in the qualifier, he needs to go, in my opinion. Bagayanis is Nalu at the bars all day, like a few other of these Greek ones on the list. He's got to go too with the tattoos and bullshit. So for me, he has to go too. So now you're looking at Doi and Koutsidis is the first time I even read the name, to be honest. I'm not going to bullshit you. So that's what you're looking at right there. So we're on the market for 3 or 4 center backs. Don't kill me. Someone's going to kill me. Don't lose Socrates' phone number. I'm sure you guys want to take anyone else in that list at this point. Honestly, I don't know.
We need NBA contracts for the summer.
Yeah, we need like a 10-day contract for fucking Socrates for qualifiers anyway.
So just to clarify,
is free, man.
Oh god, don't start me. Don't start with me right now. Just to clarify, Martial, you want two new center backs, right? You said so. Purchase 2 new center backs. Just to make sure.
Because we've seen last season that probably we had too many center backs.
Right.
4 and 5.
Just clarifying. That's all.
Yeah.
So you say 2. I say 2. Lambros says 4.
I say I want 2. Like I want a Spanish and a Portuguese. That's probably what it's gonna be. And then I want a Greek on a free type thing, like Martial said. Gutas, Olympiakos, I think, is coming available. We want like a Thrylos. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say it. It was a joke. No, but you want, one of these to be a 4th or 5th center back. Anyway,
got it.
Can we say no to Thrylos?
Yeah, I would say no to Thrylos. I will always say no to him because I hate him.
Thrylos is ready and his phone is close.
Stop.
Alfred Cordone, if you're here. Anyway.
Stop. I hate you.
Kyriakos is free too, I think. He did not renew with Lamia yet.
He's close to his phone and ready to answer when the phone call comes.
Well, real quick before we get Costas C's keep sell loan for the center back. There's a couple questions that have been asked about Papastathopoulos and Kalogeropoulos. Guys, both of their contracts are up this summer with no word on renewal. So that's why we haven't included them in here, because as of right now, they wouldn't be available for the plans. That's why they're not included. So Costa, go ahead. Your keep sell loan. So you've already heard both Martial and I have said 2 transfers. Lambro is more 2 plus a free Greek or something. And then what do you got?
I think we need 2 transfers at centre back as well. I look at that list of names and I'm trying to think of defensive partnership. I can't find one. Okay, maybe Cisse Bar, but we've seen it. I think we're done. I think that Labro and Marshall said it. I think for the good of their own careers, and it's in everyone's interest that they're moved on. They're out of contract next season. You could say keep Cisse one more. He's still like when he wants to. When he wants to, he's a really good centre back. Very good in the air. He can score goals. Can get you 5-6 goals a season minimum. But I think it's over, and it worries me. The centre back situation really worries me. Gutierrez is in there because we know that he's probably going to get called to go to preseason out of the B team players. 18-year-old left-footed centre back. We'd heard a lot before about Chrysopoulos, who was mentioned by someone in the chat, but haven't heard anything about him going to preseason. There's even some talk that actually he was on loan from Aris and it wasn't a purchase. So, yeah, the only one I really keep is Doi and Koutsidis for the B team. And Retsos because you just don't really, he's not sellable. He's not sellable. There's no point loaning him. He's versatile. He's a gamble. He's a gamble for the season, and it could go well, could not. And I also agree with what Marshall said about Doi. And I mentioned it the other day when we did the awards. He won most improved player this season, but going into next, you just you don't know, depending what kind of coach comes in. If it's a Bordalas kind of coach, he plays with a double pivot. Could he be a defensive midfielder destroyer? Could he play him there? Or is it going to be a coach that comes in and plays 3 at the back? I don't know. I don't quite know how Doi would fit in a 4-4-2, 4 at the back defensive partnership. But I don't know. I'm as I said during the award show, I'm very curious to see how his career evolves going into the next season. But he's the only one I keep. Cisse sell, Bar sell, Doi keep, Retsos keep. Bagaglianis get rid if you can get a good offer, and Koutsidis keep.
There you go. Well, let's up next. We've got center mids. So we're going to start with Martial on this. We have Juan, Bouchalakis, Koundé, Dabo, Fadiga, Aguibou, Mari, Kane, Pepe, and Sorlis. A lot of guys coming back from loan. Martial, tell us your keep sell loans here.
Well, the one I will keep first is Huang, of course. Then I will keep Bouchalakis. To me, is I don't know how to say that, but I know a lot of people does not like him. But the first time we lost the title is when he was out of the team. I'm not saying he's essential to Olympiakos, but I think he is essential for the Olympiakos as a whole, because that's not the kind of player that complains if he's out of the mission. He's Greek. He counts for the European list, if I'm not mistaken. He's left-footed, and probably he went abroad for the first time since he went to Nottingham. So maybe he changed his mind and will come back different, not being a starter like under Martins, but more in the rotation. And we've seen players like Kasami play this season, so you have space for players like Bouchalakis in the squad. And for the rest, I would keep Aguibou because I like Aguibou a lot. We don't have that kind of profile in the team. I would sell Madi because I do love him very much, but it's the same situation like Cisse and Ba. He deserves to go. He deserves to try his luck elsewhere, not with a loan like in Roma, because those kind of loans is not really a gift for players, because it's very difficult to convince the club to buy you. Koundé, I would sell. He has qualities, but I'm not really a big fan of the profile. And for the rest, Kane to me looks like an easy sell because he had a very good season in Cyprus. Do not fear that it will be in Olympiakos by the end of August. Pepe is a very good player, but Has Costa would say is not made for Olympiakos, and probably will have a lot of suitors. So I would probably sell him because it's time to sell now. What do we have? Fadiga and Dabo I would keep. It's not the same profile, but as I said earlier, like the season is very big. Like if we go to Europe, it's like at least 40, 45 games to play. So those kind of players, they can expect to play between, I would say, 15 and 20 games. And the question is like, does the club wants to give this amount of games to players like Fadiga and Dabo, or to have players like Kasami, I don't know, Milivojevic and stuff like that? That's the question. And Sorlis, I would loan him because I've went to the B team against AEK and I was like, okay, Sorlis is a dad playing with children. Like he was running everywhere, more physical, more technical. He has something, but it's probably the worst position at Olympiakos to break through when you are a product of the academy, because you have always players in the midfield. Even with injuries, with suspension, you won't play. So
It's
I would
tough.
loan him.
Yeah. Lambro.
Yeah, I would keep Huang. I'd keep Bouhalakis until July or till August for qualifying. Kunde I sell. Dabo I loan. Fadiga I keep. Agibu I keep. Madi I sell. Kane I sell. Pepe I sell. Surlis I sell. That's it.
Costa.
Or Surlis I'll loan. Screw it. With option. Something like this. I take that back. Anyway.
Going into a first qualifier on the 10th of August, who the hell do you play? Okay, so like there's no point.
Bouhalakis Huang, man.
Yeah. So, so looking at that list, if it's a two-man midfield, then yeah. Okay, obviously keep Huang. Bouhalakis because he's Greek too, like for the list, like Marshall said. I think that's even a reason to keep Surlis because he's an academy player as well. That counts different.
Yep.
But again, like Marshall said, it's probably the hardest area on the park for an academy prospect to break through. A lot of things have to happen. Just look at Androutos. The guy ended up playing right back as a centre midfielder, attacking midfielder. And you've got this kid, Mouzakitis, who, what's his name? Inigo talked about as well. Who's 16, 17 years old, captain of the under-17s, played professionally already with the B team. I don't know like what the plan. It's one of the things I'm really curious about this season. Is how we treat like some of the players that have featured and done well for the B team, and we'll talk about like Algacin Bar later or Kostulas. Like, will these guys get chances? Is it going to be that kind of season? Are Olympiakos fans ready for that kind of season where we give chances to players like this with the risk that we drop points? They make mistakes. Young players make mistakes. They need to. That's how they learn. But looking at the list very harshly, Juan keep, Bouhalakis keep, Kunde sell, Dabo keep for preseason, same Fadiga, keep Agibu, sell Madi, sell Kane, good season in Cyprus. Pepe, I'm curious, man. Like, yeah, he's not, I don't think he's made for Olympiakos, but it depends. Like, if there's a manager that comes in and knows how to use him and they click, like, he's a good player. But otherwise, I think he's sellable. And I think that's it. We need a 6. Mvila is Mvila's going 33 and he's not going to stay, most likely. But he's a big loss. It's a big loss. Like, Mvila was one of the first names on the team sheet. So who replaces him? There's nobody in that list that replaces him. And for me, Dabo and Fadiga, they're fighting for a spot. They're different kind of players, But I think those two are fighting for a spot on the roster, and one of them is going to stay, one of them is going to go, if any of them stay, if any of those two stay.
I'm a little bit different with the some of the less obvious players, but for me as well, Huang is 100% keep. Madi, I don't think you have a choice. He doesn't want to come back. He wants to stay abroad. He's a sell. Bukhalakis, people got mad at me on social media when we reported that his loan, he was coming back, and I said we don't have a choice. We have to. This guy has to be with us, and people got upset with me because they want him gone. Costa just talked to you guys about Yann Villa, probably 33, probably isn't going to be around. He'll probably go to the Middle East to get his last big paycheck. The closest person that has the distribution capabilities as Yann Villa in terms of the types of long balls, the accuracy with the long balls and the distance is Bukhalakis. That's the closest person we have that can do that. Koundé can't do that. Dabo and Fadiga, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The coaches that we have coming in, even if we look at Bordalas, neither one of these players are Bordalas midfielders. Neither one of them are in the 6-6 that he plays in a 4-4-2. Neither one fit. Other coaches, I think, would make use of them. Both these guys are really good with the ball at their feet. We did stat profiles on both of them. I love these players. I love both of them. The problem is the coaches that we're being linked with, there's only one or two of them that I think could make use of them in this area of the park. But that's a discussion for a different time. So I probably if I can loan one of them, I loan either Dabo or Fadiga, I keep the other. My preference would be to loan Fadiga, keep Dabo. Aguibou, again, based on the coaches we're linked with, Bordalas, I think uses Aguibou. If you guys remember his success for us last season against Fenerbahce, I mean, that's right there. That's Aguibou's bread and butter. Keeping the line tight, intercepting the ball, and then helping on the counter and getting forward after that. He can run box to box. That is bread and butter for Aguibou. Maybe less so the technical part of maybe one touch, faster paced football, but that's a different story. Kane, gone. You got value out of Meta Cyprus, sell him. Pepe, he's got a year left on the deal. He doesn't want to be here, sell. And Thrylos, I keep. And we definitely need to buy a 6 over the summer, and hopefully we get somebody that can do what Bukhalakis does, but better. But I still think you have to keep him because of the Greek nationality. That's how I see it for keep sell loan for the center mids. We're buying one, keeping Huang, keeping Bukhalakis, keeping Thrylos, and one of Dabo Fadiga have to go, and keeping Aguibou as well. So I think we all went right for center mid. So Lambro, you're going to get us started, and you're going to get us started with right wing. Now the wing, once we do one, the other one should go quicker. But go ahead, buddy.
Can I just do both of them at the same time?
Yeah, sure. It's a lot of the same players, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I'd keep Masouras, I'd keep Zinchenko, Onyekuru's done, Vrusai is on the bubble. Let me come back to it. Rodriguez gone, Liatzos loan. Rangelovic, if he's coming back, keep. Lovera for me is he's a bit on the bubble as well. But I think it's time sail to Cyprus. DB Keita, I loaned first division Greek team. Liatzos is here. I'd loan him as well. Bitiki is another bubble. So my for sure wingers are Masura, Zinchenko, and then you have Vrusai, Bitiki battling. And then I want to buy one winger or two. So that's where I stand. I think Vrusai, given nationality, may have to stay. He's another one of those who I just want to see go somewhere else to see what we see. Who he's a bit like a Ba and Cisse and Androutsos, where you say just go abroad, man, go to a new team. Like it's like I want to see you leave for you. Like it's fine him being the fourth choice winger at Olympiakos, but like, does the guy really want that? Maybe he could become something in his career if he went abroad. But that's it for me. So for sure, Masouras and Zinchenko will stay, and then the bubble is Vrusai and Biducci.
Bututsi.
Whatever. Yes.
Malaka. Bututsi. Jesus
Bututsi.
Christ.
I said Butucci. Adi. I don't know. Fake news.
Martial, go ahead.
Martial, please.
Well, I would keep Masuras, Zinkanagar, of course, but at the same time, if he does not want to be here, I'm not sure it's worth it to keep him, at least after the summer. Vrusai I would keep because I'm not sure he has offers to go elsewhere, and he's kind of needed in the team because he's versatile. Rodriguez has to go. Onyekuru is gone. Butucci, I don't really know what he can bring to the team. I don't really know this player because we barely saw him play since he came in January. DB Keita needs to be loaned, but not in Greece. I would say probably Spanish second division if he has a level to play there. I'm not sure. Rangelovic, I would keep because is what come close to a winger for me is someone that is able to dribble. It's what comes after the dribble that is the major issue with Rangelovic, because the the shooting ability, the pass ability, and Lovera, I don't think he can make it in Olympiakos because he's not a winger, and we have a lot of tens already. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing.
The Wi-Fi. Come on.
River
Martial,
RR.
what's your professionalism? God damn.
No, because I was seeing Ari laughing, so
I shouldn't have been
concentrate
laughing
myself.
as hard as I was. That for some reason was so funny. River RR. The Bututsi's
Sorry.
name, Bitiki, is a Wi-Fi password, not a name. That killed me. I'm done. I'm sorry, Martial. I didn't mean to distract you, buddy. I'm sorry.
No, but I was kind of down because I was thinking if Lovera is not a 10, and as a 10, he has no future with Olympiakos. And he was good in Ionikos this season because I did watch a lot of games due to Fadiga. But his hand product is very low. So maybe it was due to Ionikos' poor offensive area in his hole because they had no strikers. But at the same time, it did not really, I don't know, since he came to Olympiakos, it did not really click somewhere. Neither in Cyprus, nor in Olympiakos.
Costa.
In Cyprus, they liked him, I heard, but they didn't have the money to keep him. But he's been what? It's been 3 seasons he's been with us now, I think.
Yeah.
I can't see a future for him, even though he extended his contract last summer before he went out to Ionikos again. But you got to sell him. If a bid comes in, sell him. It hasn't worked out. DB Keita, loan. Onyekuru's gone. Zinkernagel was the one I want to stay. But again, like we talked a lot about him earlier in the season about, why didn't we see him at right wing? That's where he did so well at Bud Glimt. But looking at his stats this season for Standard Liège, he played 11 times as an attacking midfielder, scored 6 goals and 2 assists. Played 5 times as a left winger, scored 2 goals, and played 7 times as a centre forward, scored 1, assisted 1. Didn't play right wing at all. So it's a question of, how does the new coach see him fitting in? I feel like Zinkernagel really needs a coach that's going to kind of say to him, like, I want you, you're going to be important to this team. And that's the only way that he stays. Otherwise, I think he's gone. He's a sellable player. He's worth 4 million on the market. I think there's teams in Belgium already that want him. His coach that was at Liège has gone to Club Bruges now. Bruges are going to play Europe next season. They have money. I can see him going to Bruges personally. Liège don't have the money. But let's see. Masouras, whether we like it or not, he's one of those players that's good for the squad. Vrusai the same. It's the Greek academy player. That's that's something that keeps him there. Who did I miss? Radjelovic I keep too, for reasons Marshall raised already. Gary Rodriguez go, Mecordella, and Liatos on loan.
I have a question. With Bordalas, we've heard about this 4-2-2. Is he the one with the 4-2-2? Yes. Just give me a shake of the head. Yes. Right.
4-2-2.
No, he's 4-2-2-2. Right. He plays 2 6s, 2 attacking midfielders.
Yeah.
So a front three consisting of Biel, Zinkernagel, Fortunis, blank striker. Is that like the dream we roll out in qualifiers? Is that like
Fortunis, Biel, Zinkernagel?
Yes, and then a striker. Biel behind the striker, and then you have Zinkernagel and Fortunis. Either way, whatever you figure out that combo. Looking at this team, is this the best we have? You think like something like that?
If he was the coach, I think that's probably what
he
would
would
see.
do?
Or at the very least, that'd be very similar. He would probably use Masouras, to be honest with you, at least somebody that tracks back more, or that's more likely to track back.
Just coming out of the roster, that's what I was seeing, kind of.
Can I just clarify on Radjelovic? Radjelovic is coming back. He will be at
Is that
preseason.
Confirmed? Who gave us this? Someone gave us the info.
We got a confirmation.
Yeah, on that. What doesn't matter what you heard that been sold. He's coming back. He's coming back.
Just like
Koundé.
Exactly.
Koundé.
Pierre Koundé had a clause that if Bochum stayed up, that he would stay there.
Obligation.
Reporting on loans has been quite shoddy.
Yeah, very.
Incredible.
But we digress.
I'm still expecting Henry to come back somehow. Just be like, 3.5. Like it was Champions League guaranteed, not Europe. Like, fuck's sake.
Yeah. So for my keep sell loan, I keep Masouras. I like Zinkernagel as a player. I personally would want to keep him, but again, like Gus already brought up, he's a sellable player and he seems to want to stay abroad. I understand that. I'd rather sell him. I'd rather have players that are going to be here. Onyekuru, don't have to worry about it. Thank God. Oust, you and your shitty green hair. Vrusai, I have no problem keeping. I think we saw, as long as he continues to play wing, I think we've seen some good things from him. Gary Rodriguez, glass leg Gary, was supposed to be gone, still here. Oust. Liatos is only 19, right?
He's young.
I'd loan. I loan him, not B team. Like I want to loan for him. We've heard some pretty good things about him as a player. I'd like to see him loaned. Radejevic, I know you guys like him. I'm done. What's Serbian for get the fuck out? Oust for me.
He's gotten Olympiakos qualifications before with Ammonia, Krasnodar. That's the thing. Like
don't care.
Like Martial said, like just getting through these qualifiers, it's like a knife fight. You just like. You want someone like Radjelovic to win a random penalty and win you qualification,
I'm done with.
Anyway.
I've moved on from Radjelovic as a player. I'd rather. I was happy when we sold.
I'm not dying over it.
I'd like to keep Zimer Buduzzi because I did a deep dive on him, and there were some things that interested me. I really wished we would see more of him, so I'd like to keep him. And DB Keita, Lovera gone. Hasta la vista, baby, get out of here. And then DB Keita is a very talented player. I would like to see a loan for him. I don't think we would see him in the team this year, but he's a very talented player that I want us to hold on to. I would like to see him in the future. And that's my keep sell loan for the wingers. So up next, we have our 10s. The number 10, my favorite position to talk about. I don't know about you guys. Costa, you can go ahead and get us started. Who's your keep sell loan for the number 10 position?
Biel keep, Fortunis keep, Carvalho sell, Liatos loan, Lavera sell. That was really easy. That was really easy. And for God's sake, like all of these people about Rajelovic. Okay, let's just see when preseason starts, guys. Transfermarkt isn't always 100% accurate. Their information is only as accurate as the reporters in country, and I'll stop that there.
Binakas's name wasn't on the list for training camp, right?
Nor Kosti,
Kosti,
so they're not
yeah.
involved in this list because they're not being taken to Austria.
Comment from Steve Sai here. What about Binakas and Kosti? I saw two other people had asked about Kosti. Their names weren't on the list for training, so that's why we didn't include them. They're not being included for training camp by Antonio Cordon. God, Lambra, I swear to God, I'm going to call him Alfred forever because of you. My one mistake. Anyway, Costa already went for the 10s. That was pretty quick. Martial, you go ahead.
I only keep BL in that list.
Wow.
Are you loaning Fortunis and bringing Bakasetas in as a replacement?
No, but Fortunis for me is the Payet of Olympiakos. I mean,
He's fat.
No,
that is not a bad comparison, actually. Like, he's the hero of the team. Fans love him, but like maybe he's holding him back.
I would say Fortunis is not creating issues in the locker room like Payet, but it's more than a player for Olympiakos. Like for the fans, for the club itself, it's more than a player. And for rebuild, I mean, just look at the amount of articles Fortunis creates without wanting it. I mean, if he plays, people always say, okay, he should have played earlier. He's better than the stars the club brings to the club and stuff. When he's not playing, the articles say, okay, he should play and stuff, like the whole Martin stuff when he got benched and etc. It creates, I think, more problems, even if he's not the one that created, but he can't stop that. He's more than a player because he represents a huge part of Olympiakos' modern history. And also, he had pretty much disappointing playoffs for me. And I'm not sure he can guide Olympiakos towards success in Europe. So it's a hard choice, but choice has to be made. Even if I don't make choice for Olympiakos, I would say don't keep him.
Lambro, how do you respond?
If there is a chance, I mean.
No,
I would not
I don't
like the club to
respond.
resign. But
I understand the opinion. I disagree, though. I'm with Costa. I think it's BL, Fortuny stay. What's weird is I'm a bit borderline on João Carvalho. Is that like insane?
No.
Like, I'm kind of just like, I am also of the opinion, bring him in, give him the preseason as well. The other two are, Liatos is alone. Lovera, I think, is sold. But Carvalho is another bubble one for me. But yeah.
For the 10s, I'm pretty much similar with Costa. I'm keeping Biel and Fortunis for me. I'm not going to reiterate what you guys have already said. Carvalho, I think I'm selling if I can get something out of him. We don't need. I don't see the need for another like player, creative type of player. He's got a lot of flair. I'll give him that. But we saw so much of like games where, you know, he just made it look like so easy some games, effortless, and then other games was like, this guy, what is he doing? So I'm beyond that. I think we need more if we're gonna keep, you know, more 10s as it were. I'm looking for more people that have more use and that can actually cover more ground. Liatos already talked about loan, and Lovera I talked about, so that's pretty easy for me. So we only have one segment left, and it is. Well, looking at that list, it's not very good. We've got the forward depth chart, and I guess it's my turn to go first for this one. So we have El Arabi, Hassan, Biel, Abubakar Kamara, and Al Gassimba. Well, I'm 100% keeping Ba. He's looked good this season for the B team. He's a very talented player. I've had my eye on him. AK-47, I don't care where he goes, just as long as he's not here. Sell. And BL, of course, keeping. If we have a coach, I haven't seen any coach we've been linked with that plays with a false 9. So I'm not sure if he'll be used as a forward, maybe as a second, depending on the 4-4-2 setup. Hassan, I'm done with the Egyptian Penguin. I'm done. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do this anymore with him. If we don't have a striker that we're bringing in to get started, you have to keep him. Because you don't really have any other options, but I'd rather stick with Ba. El Arabi, we're stuck with for another year. You're not selling him. You're not loaning him. You're not getting rid of him. And you can't cut. He's not going to just cut his contract without you paying him out. So I think with a coach like Bordalas, when you see the types of 4-4-2s he plays, one of the strikers is usually relatively physical and can get up for some of those balls, but it's also required to distribute. El Arabi's distribution part of his game has really, really gone downhill the last year and a half. Maybe you get some of that out of him, but if I had to pick 2 to keep out of this, BL, of course, I think is not going to be classified as a forward. I'm keeping El Arabi and Ba until we get a striker that we're signing, and then El Arabi's third choice. But that's how I look at it. So keep those 2, and then you're still buying a striker. That's how I see it. Costa, you go next.
Well, it's another one of those positions where, your number 1's gone, huh? Like Bakambu's gone, just like MVLA in the midfield, you need to replace him. And looking at that list, there's no one there that can for me. El Arabi, for me, is part of the problem. And I don't mean any disrespect. But, we talked about this last season when there was the discussion about renewing him. And I think a big lesson there is you don't renew a player because of what he did, but you renew them because of what they can offer you moving forward. And I think it was a bad call. Could there be a Saudi club or a club from Qatar that comes in? We know he likes to visit there. Maybe the preseason is different because we don't have friendlies every 2 games and heavy training sessions before. Maybe that was a big factor in his decline this season. Maybe it can change. I don't know. But for me, El Arabi, if you get an offer, I think you need to say thank you and, goodbye, like legend of the club. And that frees up a lot of money, yeah? It's like more than 2 million a year contracts. And we need a player like him when he came in. We need a player like him when we signed him 3-4 seasons ago, whenever it was. Hassan, move him on, even release him. Pep Biel, you mentioned, like, he's an option. He's an option. For me, he's ahead of El Arabi and Hassan, to be clear. AK-47, get rid. And Al-Ghassim Ba is a gem. I think he's been reborn under Ibarasa. Since Ibarasa came back, he's been scoring goals. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing him. I think out of all those profiles up front, he's young, he's physical, he's determined, and he's got something to prove. Yeah. And he's looking to make a name for himself. And I think he has a different kind of motivation, different kind of determination to the others on that list. So he's, for me, starting the season as third striker, but won't be surprised if he turns into something more.
Martial?
Well, having the qualifiers in mind, I would get rid of Camara first. I think we did not talk enough about the fact that we went from loan with mandatory purchase option, from Aris not wanting to keep Camara. Like, it went quite unnoticed for me. But Camara was probably one of the most expensive signing we made last summer, and the whole season has been a disaster. So I'm not expecting him to be able to bounce back even in friendlies. So he better be sidelined before the friendlies. I would keep Hassan because he's the best second striker we've had since a lot of times. The numbers he had, okay, he has I don't know, say that big default in his game, but I would keep him. But I would keep him too. And Al Arabi, as Costa said, need a full preparation in the summer. And last season he was really unprepared, unfit, not ready. Also quite washed, but especially not ready. So you have to keep him for the qualifiers, and I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves by the end of August, for example. Probably a third of the team will change by the end of August. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we will be holding players, I'm afraid. I don't know if it's good news or not. For some of those loanies, it's a really good news for them.
Yeah, I guess it's my turn, and I'm gonna make a surprise. So when I look at the strikers, I think you need 3, right? You need 3. So personally, I want to hold off and not sign a striker until September and try to get, after the transfer window has closed in Europe, try to pick up a big name. Or I want to sign 2 strikers. I want to get one who can jump into the qualification, and then I want a big name like we did with Bakambu. Big name, an opportunity, a player who's trying to get out but didn't get the paperwork through, because our transfer window is this way where you can get some really nice deals in September. But going into the qualifiers, I'm taking El Arabi on good training. Hassan is gone. Biel, I'm not considering. Ba, I'm taking, and this is the surprise. I'm giving Abu Bakar Kamara a second chance. I know that sounds insane, but to me, I'd take him with me. I'd want to see him in preseason first, because he may be fat and an asshole, because that's who he is.
We have no choice anyway.
But we don't have a choice. Exactly. It's that, or I'm going El Arabi, Hassan, Ba, or this is a place where you got to make a signing and get rid of Kamara and Hassan. So a striker has to come in very fast, or those are your options, in my opinion. So, and personally, I would take Kamara with me because of the pace and the ability to press, and who knows, heavy legs in the summer somewhere, he presses and something comes. This doesn't mean I love the guy. Far from it. I think he's a terrible person, probably bad character, but we're desperate here. That's that.
Well, there you have it. That's your depth chart, your keep sell loan for the team for the upcoming season, for the upcoming summer, I should say, for the upcoming window. As Costa mentioned before, coaches, whoever it is probably coming in this week. We've got training coming up. A lot has to happen, and we don't have a lot of time to do it, at the very least, with the timeline that's been set. So things are going to move. There's a lot to keep an eye out for, and we'll keep you guys updated. Again, any information that we get, anything that is reliable, we will post it for you. We will keep up to date. We're not going to share names of transfers when we don't even have a coach yet. There's just no point. We've been focusing a lot more on the potential outgoings of the roster. So we will keep you guys up to date with all of that information as we continue to move. In the meantime, does anybody else have anything before we wrap up here?
No, just
pick up the basketball team we didn't say earlier. 75-52, 2-1 in the series, and we're going to Oaxaca and we're going to beat them there. And
let's finish it. Awesome game tonight.
Fantastic. Congratulations to them. And maybe we'll see what happens. Good stuff for the basketball team. They've been a joy to watch all season, despite the very small disappointment, the very tough loss in EuroLeague. Good stuff from them. But guys, we have a ton of stuff coming up, so watch the space. As we talked about already, we've got some interviews coming up. Somebody from the club, interview with somebody from the club is going to become not a player. So we're excited to do that. We'll have information for that coming up. Don't forget, if you haven't if you haven't participated for the giveaway, do that now while it's still available. You have your chance to get yourself a free jersey. And of course, we have interview with an amateur player, maybe a couple of them coming up over the summer as well. So keep an eye out for all of that. And until next time, this is Gate 7 International, by the fans, for the fans. So we'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your Sunday and have a great week.